Welcome back to Not Another Moto Pod, hosted by Sam Fury. This week on episode 29, we will discuss round 8 of the 2025 Motocross Championship from Washougal, as well as the end of Jet Lawrence's win streak and another impressive ride by Jo Shimoda before the 2-week break. Let's get into it. All right, starting out with the 250s, and for the second time in the last 3 weeks, Jo Shimoda is your winner on the afternoon, going 2-1. Joe looked really good in Moto 1. Looked like he may have had something for Hayden late in that race. Hayden did put in a charge and was able to pull away from him late and won by about 5 or 6 seconds there. But Joe looked strong. Going into Moto 2, Joe had a really good start, started around third place, made some good passes, passed Seth Hamaker for the lead, and just set sail at this point. Hayden did not have a great start in Moto 2, and Joe just had no challengers. Honestly, this should be 3 overalls in a row for Jo Shimoda. Obviously, we saw the sort of unlucky wave of events last weekend after losing his rear brake while he was leading. And, obviously going 2-1 last week would have given him the overall yet again. So this should really be 3 overalls in a row for Jo Shimoda, just to point out how good he is riding. Unfortunately, on the afternoon, second place was Hayden Deegan, who did go 1-2 on the afternoon. So Joe winning by the tiebreaker obviously did not gain any points in the championship. That's going to be the only bugaboo there for Jo Shimoda. Again, Hayden Deegan in second place rode very well. Just a classic Deegan race in Moto 1. He really didn't push away as much as we maybe expected. Like I said, Joe kind of held him tight there for quite a bit, and Hayden did answer back and was able to win that one. In Moto 2, he started around 8th or 9th, and just was not able to get back there. By the time he got into second place, Joe was already gone. He did put in a bit of a push, but he really didn't have anything for Joe that late in the race. Third place on the afternoon and rounding out the podium, Garrett Marchbanks going 3-4 on the day. Another unbelievable ride for Garrett Marchbanks. He is bouncing back after a few weeks there where he had some trouble, going 3-4 in the afternoon and getting his, I think this is his first overall podium in the 250 class. Rode really well all day, obviously coming from behind as we expect from him, but just looked really fast. He was a fast qualifier on the day, and he just made passes with ease. We know how many people he has had to pass this year. They even mentioned it on the broadcast this week. He's passed over 130 riders this week, all due mostly to his terrible starts. Obviously, he did the same thing in Supercross, but Garrett Marchbanks is just showing that he does have the speed and showing that he does belong in this class and up front. Would love to see him get a start one week and see what he could do with these front guys, Joe and Hayden. Would be really interested to see if Marchbanks could stay up there and possibly get a win in one of these motos. Fourth place, Garrett Marchbanks' teammate, Seth Hamaker. Good week for the Cowie boys. 7-3 on the afternoon for Seth. Not a great start in Moto 1, but did ride well coming up through the pack. In Moto 2, he pulled the whole shot, led for a little bit, and then was passed by Ryder D and Jo Shimoda, I believe. Going back to third place, actually Ryder D was Moto 1. He had the lead there. So I think it was maybe Joe, and I don't remember who else was off the start there with Hamaker. But going back to third place, he did ride very well throughout the race. This may be the best that we've seen him ride in a moto. Obviously, he had the third place at High Point earlier this year, which was his first moto podium. So to back it up here with a 7-3 day, going fourth overall, obviously with Garrett edging him out there late. But a good ride overall for Seth Hamaker. Fifth place, Signs of Life for Austin Faulkner, going 5-5 on the day. He really actually looked fast. He had good starts in both motos. He was top 10 off the start in both motos, which we have not really seen from him this year. In Moto 2, late in the race, he was passing guys left and right. He really looked fast. It was really good to see Austin up there. Maybe he's found something. Maybe he's figured something out this late in the year. Would love to see him continue to build, but a 5-5 is a really positive result here for Austin Faulkner. Sixth place on the afternoon, Dylan Schwartz. I believe this ties his overall career best, going 4:11 on the afternoon. In Moto 1, he was riding incredible. He was the third fastest qualifier on the day. He did the same thing at Redbud, I believe, where he was second fastest qualifier. So he has shown some signs of speed, and we know by now that Dylan Schwartz is a digger late in the motos. Grabbing fourth place, obviously, he was running up front with the other guys. Garrett Marchbanks did make a late pass on him for the last podium position with about 2 minutes left. Unfortunately, there for Schwartz. Would have been cool to see him on the moto podium, but a fourth place, nothing to scoff at. That was his career moto best as well. Moto 2, he started around 24th, and I looked at timing and scoring off the jump. Just kind of looking for him and doing some quick math in my head. I thought maybe he could get up to 14th or so, so an 11th was a solid bounce back from where he started. Again, for 6th place on the day to tie his career best overall. 7th place, another good ride from Mikkel Harrup, going 10-7 on the afternoon. Didn't see much of him in Moto 1, but in Moto 2, he started up front again, was running the pace for a while. Was, I believe, in 3rd or 4th place when he went down after Hayden Deegan was making a push at him, so he did lose a couple positions there late. And then Austin Forkner did get him as well in that group late in that moto. 8th place on the afternoon, Max Vohland, going 8-9 on the afternoon. Really kind of a weird ride, in my opinion, in Moto 1 because he was up there with Dylan Schwartz and these other guys. And to see Schwartz hold on for 4th place and for Max to drop back to 8th was a bit concerning for me. Maybe he's struggling a bit more than we expect or than we've heard with that handbrake that he is running. Solid overall results, of course, to running inside the top 10, which he has not done much of this year. I believe this may actually be his first weekend with 2 moto scores inside the top 10. But again, weird to me to see a rider like Dylan Schwartz get 4th and Max Vohland get 8th when they were Max was actually ahead of Schwartz for quite a while in that race. So again, just maybe something to look forward, look at moving forward in these weeks, see what Max Vohland is up to. 9th place on the afternoon, Drew Adams. Good finish from Drew. Obviously, he had a couple weeks off with injury, going 13-6 on the afternoon. The 6th place in Moto 2, he was riding up front early, was making some passes, really looked comfortable at that pace. Things that we've seen from riders such as Drew Adams. Also brings to mind Cole Davies in Supercross. Would love to see when Davies gets back how he stacks up with Drew Adams. These guys were really the touted rookies coming into this season, so always good to see them with a good finish up near the front. 10th place on the afternoon, Ryder DeFrancesco, 11-8. He was actually leading in Moto 1, went down with Hayden Deegan. Really unfortunate there to go down the way that he did. He was able to get back up and remount for 11th place. It could have been nasty, so really good to see him get up and stay healthy. And then in Moto 2 was riding up towards the front again. I believe he was in 4th or 5th. He got passed by a couple guys late. 11th place, the last full-time PC Kawasaki guy, because Enzo Temmerman was 13th, of course, but Levi, 9-10 on the afternoon, Levi Kitchen at Washougal at his home. I have nothing to say. Whatever. That's a terrible ride. You can't ride like that at home. He did the same thing last year. It's weird. I don't know. Levi's a much better rider than that. 12th place, Jordan Smith, 6:14 on the afternoon. A really good showing in Moto 1 with the 6th place there. Obviously, again, the Triumph guys has probably found something in all their bikes with really good finishes from everybody outside of Jalik this week who did crash. 6:14, yeah, he just can't put together 2 motos, has not done it yet this year for a good overall. I believe I said this a few weeks ago as well, but riding well and showing some potential in each moto. 13th, as I alluded to, Enzo Temmerman going 14-13 on the afternoon. I believe this is Enzo's... I think he was out for a race or two. I could be wrong there, but coming back. So a 14-13, good ride for Enzo Temmerman. I believe this is his best overall finish yet as a pro. 14th place, Parker Ross, 12:15. Another solid showing from Parker Ross. Would like to see him back inside the top 10, but a good riding. 15th place, Avery Long, 16-12. I believe that 12 is a career best for Avery Long. He's been riding well as well. 16th, his teammate, Lux Turner, 17-17. These guys always seem to find each other in the overall. Avery Long and Lux Turner have been back and forth each week here. 17th overall, Alexander Federstoff, 15-19, good riding there. 18th, Nate Thrasher, 19-16. I don't know. You never know what you're going to get with Nate, but 2 moto finishes inside the top 20 after a couple of rough weeks. 19th place, CJ Bernard, teammate again of Long and Lux there, 2018 on the afternoon. He scored points in a couple motos this year, but this is good to see him with 2 motos inside the top 20. 20th place, Cullen Park. I believe this is his first outdoor race of the year, going 18-20 on the afternoon. I'm sure he is looking for more. We saw how good he was in Supercross this year with several top 5 finishes. 21st, Kyle Wise, 24-21. I'm wondering if Wise is a Washougal local. I probably should have looked this up, but that's is his first point score of the year. And 22nd on the afternoon, Austin Black going 21-27. Black is one of these kids who came out of Loretta's a couple years ago. I don't believe he raced pro last year, but the year before, I think he popped in for a few motos and had some speed and pulled some hole shots even. So would be interesting to see moving forward with Austin Black. The 0 points club of the day, unfortunately, Jalik Swoll, DNF, DNS, after pulling the hole shot and running out front, looked really fast in Moto 1. We saw him go down, probably knocked himself out, rode around for a few more laps, and was then black flagged after having to pull off the track. Looked okay riding at that point, but apparently was black flagged after the medics told him not to go out, and he went out anyway. So unfortunate there for Jalik Swoll and for the entire Triumph team after pulling the whole shot in Moto 1. Points as they stand this week with only 3 weeks remaining. After this was round 8, of course, we have 11 rounds this year. Hayden Deegan, 368 points, and in second place, Joe Shimoda is now 45 points back, same as last week. Again, Joe and Hayden tied on points, but Joe won the tiebreaker this week. Everybody else is over 100 points back, essentially completely out of this thing, with only 3 rounds left. That only puts up 150 points for grabs. So, yeah, this thing's done for most of these guys. Obviously done as well for Joe Shimoda, we would imagine. But with as well as he's riding, I guess you never know until it's done, but it's as good as done at this point. Moving over to the 450 class, and for the first time all year, we have a new winner, Chase Sexton, going 1-2 on the afternoon. Obviously, only the second time that Jet has ever been beaten in an overall. Chase is the only person who has done it. He has beaten him twice now. Chase looked unbelievable on the day. He looked really fast. He looked like he has built that confidence that he gained in these last 2 weeks back. Obviously, he is very good at Washougal. I believe this is his third ever 450 overall win at Washougal. He just looked really fast. He was maintaining the pace in Moto 1. He made a really good pass on Jet and Jorge Prado in Turn 1 in Moto 1 to take the lead. He held up to Jet's pressure for quite a while. Jet made a mistake, and Chase was able to hold on for that win there. In Moto 2, he had a heck of a battle with Hunter and Jet, and was able to obviously get by Hunter multiple times. After the restart, he had to get by him again. There was a red flag restart in the middle of the race, about 10 minutes into the race, right after Chase had gotten Hunter the first time. Obviously, we all know that red flag restarts do revert to the finishing order of the previous lap, so Chase did again have to make the second pass on Hunter. Did so very quickly, and was able to get into second place, and just obviously at that point just didn't have anything for Jet, didn't need to have anything for Jet, with the 1-2 overall for the day. Really great ride for Chase Sexton. Second place on the afternoon was Jet Lawrence, his first career second place in 450s. Went 3-1 on the afternoon, obviously again, had a good start in both motos, but in Moto 1, got hung up behind Prado for a little bit, finally got up to Chase's rear wheel and was pressuring him for a bit, made a mistake there. And Eli was able to get by him. At that point, he just didn't have much to push to get back up to Eli. He wasn't making up any time, and had to settle for third place there. Moto 2 got a much better start. Him and Hunter were out front, as we've seen so many times this season. And he was eventually able to get by Hunter and hold off the charge from both Hunter and Chase. Just a good ride from Jet and a good ride from Chase. But we really did finally the battle that we've been wanting to see all year. Obviously, Chase was out for multiple races with his injury, but this is really what we expected more of this season, was to see these two guys at the top and to see them battling. So really good to finally see that come to fruition. Third place, Eli Tomac, back to normal after 2 rough weeks, going 2-3 on the afternoon. He looked comfortable to go 3-3. Obviously, made the pass when Jet made the mistake in Moto 1. And was able to garner second place. Prior to Jet's mistake, I'm not sure he would have had anything for the top 2 guys, but he was able to push forward in a second. And again, just a solid ride in third place in Moto 2. He was at the back of the Chase Jet Hunter battle, just kind of lurking in fourth place. And again, he did make a good pass, similar to Chase on Hunter. I think they actually passed him in the same turn after the red flag restart to get into third place and held on to it for the rest of the race. Fourth place on the afternoon, continuing his top 5 streak, Hunter Lawrence went 5-4 on the afternoon. A really bad, uncharacteristic start for him in Moto 1, and by that I mean he was in like 8th place, not 1st. Fought his way up to 5th, but really not what we expected from Hunter. Moto 2, again, he led for quite a bit, had some really good battles, and was passed by these guys who just had unbelievable speed on the afternoon to go 5-4. After the race, he did say in an interview that he was happy with 5-4. He's not a fan of Washougal. He's gone down at Washougal every year of his pro career except for this year. So interested to hear that after going 5-4, after how well he has been riding and getting a Moto win last weekend, of course. But good to see him at least continue that top 5 streak and prove that he is one of the guys, and we'll look to see him back up front next week. 5th place on the afternoon for the second week in a row, RJ Hampshire, 4-6 on the afternoon. Was able to fend off Hunter in Moto 1 and then was chasing Hunter in Moto 2 and slid out, had the same exact crash that Jet had in Moto 1 there, here for RJ in Moto 2. Slid out, was able to get back up, but Jay Coop had passed him at that point and was unable to mount a charge. So 4-6 on the afternoon. Not much would have changed. Nothing would have changed in the overall had he gone 4-5 with the math, obviously, there with Hunter anyway. But good riding again from RJ Hampshire. 6th place, Justin Cooper. Rough week last week. Obviously, we know all about it. He said in an interview that he was really out of it in Moto 2 after going like 6-13, I think, last week. So 6-5 was a good bounce back for Jay Coop. Again, did make the pass there late on RJ Hampshire. Hopefully this 2 weeks off can get him back up to speed, and like to see him back inside that top 5 where we've seen him have some really good speed this year with a couple second place finishes. 7th on the afternoon, Justin Barcia went 7-7 on the day. Solid riding from Barcia, kind of where he's expected to be. Maybe you slot in like Prado and Malcolm usually in these spots, but a good ride again from Justin Barcia. Obviously got the 5th place last week, going like 7-8. So 7-7 this week is an improvement, even though it's not an improvement in the overall. 8th place, Valentin Guillaume, another really good ride, going 9-10 this afternoon after going 10-6 last week. He has made himself a staple at the top. Obviously, we are missing a couple guys from the series at this point, notably Aaron Plessinger, who probably would have slotted in prior to this, but good riding nonetheless for Valentin Guillaume. 9th place, Colt Nichols, tying the best overall finish of his career. I believe that was the SMX series 2 years ago. I could be wrong now. I'm trying to do the math in my head. He did get a 9th place. I believe it was at Washougal. He went 9-9 or something on the afternoon aboard that Kawasaki, whether that be last year or the year prior. I remember specifically Colt Nichols doing very well here. But 12-9 on the afternoon, really good. A huge turnaround from where he was only 3 to 2 weeks prior. Last week he rode well. I think he went 15-15 last week, but the 2 weeks prior to that, he didn't score a single point in a moto. So really good bounce back these last 2 weeks for Colt Nichols. 10th place, Mitchell Harrison, a name that we do not see often inside the top 10, hardly even in the top 15 lately. Going 10-11 on the afternoon, Harrison has been flirting with top 20 all year, so really cool to see him have 2 really good motos here at Washougal to go 10-11 for 10th overall. 11th place, Harry Koulas, 11-12. This is where he has slotted in on the year, so another good ride from Harry Koulas, proving his consistency has carried him all season. 12th place, Malcolm Stewart, going 16-8. He did have a bad crash, not a bad crash, but a rough crash early in turn 1 of Moto 1, and then went down again later. We did see him picking up the bike off of Benoit Paturel in that turn 1 crash there, so 16-8, obviously a much better ride in Moto 2, more what we expect from Malcolm Stewart and how well he has been riding lately. 13th place, backing up a really good finish from last week with another really good finish, Lorenzo Locurcio, 13-14 on the afternoon. 14th place, Jorge Prado, I don't know, he got the whole shot almost in Moto 1, went super wide, and Chase Sexton got underneath him. He held up Jet for like a lap. And then he just dropped back to 8th. I don't know. Moto 2, kind of the same thing. He was 2nd or 3rd off the jump. I believe he was 3rd because Hunter and Jet were up front. So he was 3rd off the jump in Moto 2 and just dropped back to 19th. Not really sure what's going on there. So that was really weird, but it is what it is. We have seen some weirdo rides from Prado already this season, so we'll just chalk it up to one of those. 15th place, second week of good karma here for Marshall Welton. Obviously, we saw him a few weeks ago pick up the bike off of Caroli and have some rough motos, and now he's had 2 consecutive really good weeks. So 15-15 on the afternoon for Marsh. Romain Pap, 16th overall, going 19-13. He's been a staple inside this top 15, top 20, so really good to see him continue the success that he had last year. 17th place, Henry Miller, 14 DNF on the day. Obviously, good to see him get 14th. Good to see Henry Miller running inside this top 15. 18th on the day. Not sure what happened here with Cody Schock, 23-16. Would imagine he had some crashes. Schock is obviously much faster than this. We've seen him finish inside the top 10 on the year. 19th, Max Miller, 21-7, picking up Freddie Noren's ride on that Kawasaki. It's a good ride for Max Miller there. 20th, Jeremy Hand, 17-35, had a huge crash in Moto2. Not sure if he is injured, but did see plenty of Instagram videos of his bike and himself flipping through the air, off the track, over the track, onto other parts of the track. Really a spectacular crash there. Hope he is okay. 21st, John Short, another good ride for him, 31-18. Good to see him score points there. 22nd, Bryce Shelley, 2020 on the afternoon, has been a staple inside this point scoring from here to 20 to 25. So really good to see Shelley continue to score points. 23rd, Brad West, 18-38. I believe this is his second or third weekend in a row scoring points. And 24th, the last point scorer of the day, Scotty Verhage, 24-21. 0 points on the day, Benoit Pacharel, 28-37. I mentioned earlier, he did go down in the first turn of Moto 1. Malcolm got him untrapped from underneath his bike. I'm not sure what happened there in Moto 2 at that 37th, but not a good day for Benoit Pacharel, who has been incredibly consistent on the year. Points as they run now, again, with 3 rounds remaining, Jet Lawrence, 382 points. Hunter Lawrence is 61 points back, so over a full weekend, looking good for Jet to clinch early. And Eli Tomac here in third place is 96 points back. Everybody else is over 100, so obviously multiple weekends back. We do have the next 2 weeks off, an odd 2-week break here, and then we will return August 9th, I believe, at Ironman. And that is it for the afternoon. If you want to give us a follow on Twitter, X, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify at Not Another Moto Pod. Thanks for listening.